We were founded in San Francisco, and in our early days we created unity festivals in Golden Gate Park and other parks in San Francisco, bringing together spiritual, political, environmental organizations for the purpose of expressing unity. We had major performers like the Jefferson Starship, Grateful Dead, and Santana perform at these events. 20 years ago, we created the Positive Spin television show to present positive, innovative, and solution-oriented news from around the world. We created the program to counteract all the sensationalism and negativity in the news, which we still see today. In the last 8 years, we produced the Peace Day Global broadcast, celebrating the UN International Day of Peace. The program streams live from the Peace Channel and also the UN website and numerous websites and Facebook pages, reaching people worldwide with the message of peace and environmental sustainability. Yes, actually I was in a couple of bands. I was brought up in the 1960s living in San Francisco. So music was everywhere, and music is that universal language. So it really captured my soul. And I was into all the bands of that time, the San Francisco bands, but most specifically, I was a big fan of the Jefferson Airplane. In 1975, the airplane had morphed into the Jefferson Starship. And they had this song, Ride the Tiger, which I really loved. And I was at this concert, this mega concert that Bill Graham, the biggest producer in the world, was putting on to save education in San Francisco. And I heard the song, perhaps like for the first time. In the middle of the song, there's a lyric, "In the summer of '75, the whole world will again come alive." For some reason, being so inspired by my favorite band and their lyrics, and realizing that the summer was just a few months away, I turned to my producing partner at the time, Richard, and said, "You know what, Richard? We're going to do that." So the next day, Richard and a few of our friends started calling every political, spiritual, environmental, cultural group in the Bay Area and telling them that we felt that it was time for everybody to unite. Well, some of them hung up on us. Some of them said, "Who are you? What have you done before?" But we kept on. And a few months later, 45 organizations, spiritual, political, environmental, organizations that would never consider being in the same room with each other, all gathered together in Lindley Meadow in Golden Gate Park for the first San Francisco Unity Festival. And what was so amazing was not only the festival, but that my favorite band, the Jefferson Starship, agreed to perform. They had been the inspiration, and now they were going to perform at the event. And 2 weeks before, their song Miracles hit #1 on the charts. The band was the biggest band in the world at that time when they were playing our event. And then at the last minute, they decided to bring the Grateful Dead with them. And 50,000 people showed up to our very first event, our first Unity Festival. I remember we had a friend who was a lawyer backstage, and he said, "Bill, you can't just do this as a one-off event. You need to solidify this. You need to create a foundation." And Unity Foundation was born. I've always believed that the power of intention has guided my life, as evidenced by the first Unity Festival, of course. So in 2009, I had this vision, this dream. What if the media of the world could come together for just one day and focus on peace? It was a crazy idea, but I felt it so strongly that I knew I had to move forward. The best way to do that, of course, would be on the internet, and I knew very little about the internet. I knew how to send emails, I knew how to search for websites, but that was basically it. So I called my producing partner at the time, Lorian, and I said, "Lorian, I have this idea about a Peace Day global broadcast." She loved the idea. And I thought, well, now what we need to do is we need to ask those people who are at the forefront of celebrating the International Day of Peace what they think about it. So I called two central people to the whole movement who I knew, Dr. Robert Mueller and Avon Madison, and I left a message on the phone. Avon called me back and said, "Robert and I have been waiting for this phone call for 25 years. Since the birth of the International Day of Peace, we've been talking about such a thing." Of course, this was before the internet. But they hoped one day they would get the phone call from someone saying that they wanted to do this. So they gave us their full support. We didn't know what to do next because we knew so little about the internet. But like magic, people started showing up, internet professionals that helped us to organize the whole thing. And on September 21st, 2009, the first ever Peace Day global broadcast was launched. It was an amazing experience. The very next year, the UN began streaming the broadcast from their official website. And now it's on numerous websites and Facebook pages all over the world. Yes, I was deeply honored to receive the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Obama in 2017. You know, it's really amazing. I started out with a simple dream to promote peace and unity around the world. And now 40 years later, I'm getting recognized with this beautiful award.